Alright guys, Gator Country, this is my third attempt at this video today. Once I had to stop and then accidentally clicked off after 12 minutes of filming. Second time my wife calls, I answer the phone, the video cuts out and stops filming. So yeah, it's been interesting trying to get this going for y'all. Hope everybody's having a good day, hope everybody had a good weekend. Please give me the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so I can just stay motivated, keep bringing y'all content. I enjoy doing the videos. I've had a little bit of a lag in the views and everything recently. I know I haven't had the most positive news, but it's not going to be that way again this weekend after that game against USF. That was a, barely escaped. Probably should have lost the game. USF looked like the better football team. They outplayed us, out-physicaled us. Not going to lie, their coach, Jeff Scott, is a genius offensive mind. He was a mentor to Napier. So this guy knows how to game plan. I mean, he called it, design QB runs, misdirection. I mean, just awesome. Their running back, Batty, is a stud. He did get ragdolled by Des Watson on that one play where he got picked up and slammed him like a 4-year-old child. It was unbelievable. It was like WWE suplex. So that was interesting to see that game plan, the way it was super effective. We said we had not seen it on film, so we just looked completely lost against it. So here's the thing. We did not look as lost in the second half. We did come out and play better defense in the second half. Some of the young linebackers started to step up. We started to fill our gaps. Cox was a savage in the second half. I mean, just a freaking cannon. Ball shot out of a cannon off the edge. I mean, just bull rushing the quarterback. Chris McClellan comes in, gives us a nice emotional boost. Only person on the field looked like he cared and wanted to be a Gator. I hope he gets more snaps now. Jervon has been not great this year. He's just been average at best. I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe it's mental. I don't know. Maybe he's playing out of position. But yeah, he just does not look good. McClellan looked like the better of the two to me, so I'd like to see his snaps increase. Defensively, the young linebackers, one thing I will point out that I've been pointing out in the past couple weeks, you didn't see the tight end get a bunch of catches in this game. That's because Miller was not in the game. He's horrible in pass coverage. The young guys can cover. The flip side of that is communication wasn't as good. Run defense was putrid. That's where that hurt us. But Bernie was still out there, so that just tells you how bad Bernie is. We had 3 linebackers on the field and could not stop the run. The defensive backs, the secondary played a hell of a good game. Bohannon was terrible, picked him off twice. Trevez gets one, and Kimber gets the pick 6 with a club on his hand, which Kimber is playing some ball, man. Even that touchdown that was thrown against him, he was draped all over that defender. It was just a heck of a catch in the last game against Kentucky. So Kimber's playing some ball. Marshall looks good. He played that one deep ball really nice, defended that well. Trevez Johnson looks like a different guy this year to me. He's playing super good ball in the back end. I like him in that star spot. He's looked good there. Shamar James looked really good in the second half as far as, and I'm trying to give the positives first before we get into all the negatives, but Shamar did step up. Cox stepped up. Des Watson is losing weight, looks better and better every game. That's only going to help us. I mean, they cannot move him. That guy can eat up 2 people. He shed a block and then ragdolled that kid. I mean, that was a highlight top 10 play. It should be on ESPN this weekend. It was beautiful. So Des, man, I'm proud of that kid for what he's become and what he's doing. Man, the sky's the limit. He's only scratching the surface of what he's capable of. Just imagine if he loses another 50 pounds. If he can get down to about 350, that dude is going to be an animal. Ain't nobody going to be able to stop him. So I look for him to be, the starter next 2-3 years, that nose tackle spot, and only get better and better. The future's bright there. The defensive line has not been as bad with depth as I thought it would be. Yeah, they've gotten gashed pretty bad. But some of that was the linebacker play, in my opinion, was just really bad. We're super undersized, guys. Y'all can see how tiny these guys. Scooby Williams is very, very small. I'm not saying they're not muscular. They're lean, but we're just way undersized. We were getting tossed and gashed, manhandled by USF's offensive line. I mean, I was just watching guys get held and thrown to the side. They could not get off their blocks. Every time they'd run the ball, I mean, everybody was just getting shoved right out of the way. They weren't disengaging. There was nothing but arm tackles in this game. You're watching guys just stick an arm out. It was a weak, pathetic effort. And tackling, again, plagues this team for like the third or fourth year in a row. We're just not a physical team. We're not. We're physical on the offensive side. That looks drastically different. But this defense, to me, in a way, still reminds me of Grantham's defense. You got Kimber playing 15 yards off the ball. Play press man. Get on your guy 5 yards off the receiver and jam him. I mean, USF, I don't know how many first downs they got throwing an 8-yard out to the sideline that was there, and Kimber's so far away, by the time he gets there, it's an 8-9 yard gain. I mean, it's just, who is teaching that? What kind of defense is that? Yeah, I'm not the only one that's noticed that. I mean, again, I've had some guys on here that make comments that are just ridiculous. One guy's trying to say Billy Napier's not the offensive coordinator. If you think that, you do not pay attention to Florida football. I'm sorry, man. Billy Napier calls every single play at Florida. He is the true offensive coordinator. If Sell has it as a title, it's a title only for pay grade reasons. He does not have anything to do with play calling. Billy Napier called plays at Louisiana, and he said it from day one when he got hired. I am calling the plays here. So, I'm sorry. I'm on a message board on 247. There's like 1,000 people on there complaining about Billy Napier and calling plays and that we need to hire an OC. So either you're the only one right and 100,000 people are wrong. I don't know, man. So anyway, let's just move on from that. But yeah, just do your research before you leave, negative comments trying to argue. I'm on here just to, for entertainment purposes. I'm a fan just like y'all. I do follow the team closely. If I get, a stat wrong by a tackle or two or something like that, I'm sorry. I'm just spitballing here. I'm not reading a bunch of notes. Sometimes I do try to take a few. But, I really try to just speak off the cuff, so make it real. But let's get back to the game. So, Anthony Richardson, 0 passing touchdowns this year, 5 interceptions. At this point, he is worse than Emory Jones. Emory Jones was the better quarterback. That's why he was playing, and we were all wrong. I'm wrong. I was way off. The kid just doesn't have it. Now, I want to point this out, and I'm not saying anything. I know he's been in Napier's system for a spring and a fall. 3 games in now, he's looked putrid in this offense. He looked much better in Mullen's offense last year and put up better numbers in that offense. Again, limited snaps, but bigger plays, designed runs, more explosive. Where are the design runs at? He doesn't look hurt to me. I mean, it's football. You're going to have aches and pains, and he kind of made an excuse after the game that, I'm playing through some pain, and I know we don't have a backup, but we can't afford not to play our guy to the fullest and run him. Like, if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. We got to go all out and go for the W. We can't be playing conservative trying to save him for something. I mean, we need Miller back at this point. And this is the complete opposite of what I thought I'd ever be saying about Florida this year. But earlier I said Florida was 2-3 wins less with Miller. I'm going to flip that. I think the Gators with Jack Miller might be 2 wins better with him than Anthony Richardson. If he comes back healthy and can get it together, I do think Napier will actually pull Richardson and play Miller. Miller's Nape's guy. So I hope he does. If Anthony throws another interception in another game, I immediately hope he pulls him and puts in Jack Miller and lets him have at least a couple series. Give the guy a chance, see what he's got. Nothing can be worse than what we've gotten so far. He just locks onto his first read. Sometimes he goes to his progressions, but he fires the ball off. He looks jittery. His eyes look like freaking plates. Like he's just... he looks like a deer in the headlights. You can see it when they zoom in on him. He looks freaked out on the field, like he's about to have an anxiety attack. I love him. I think he's a super great guy, super humble, a good role model, good leader. But, man, did you see those shots he threw across the middle of the field over Pearsall and I think Whittemore? Whittemore's a really tall receiver. That ball was like 5-6 feet above his head, and he jumped. So he just doesn't have enough touch on his passes. He throws a fastball. Um, so that's super concerning. Those are just mechanical things. And he audibles out of a run play that Napier calls on the goal line, which was the right call because we run the rock better than anybody in the country right now. And he audibles into that pass to Shorter that was thrown terribly. I think Napier needs to step in if he's going to stay the quarterback and take away some of his privilege and freedom. He does not need to be able to audible out of plays unless it is like blatantly obvious. And to me, if it's a pass play, I would only let him audible in an emergency. If it's a run play, I'm sorry. If it's a run play, it should be an emergency only for him to audible out of that because, he's making some terrible, terrible decisions, and it's cost us big time. Like, we should have lost that game. So that play would have been a touchdown and not an interception. So that's another score that we would have had, and been that we should have won that game. We were 24 point favorites. I mean, come on. If y'all can't see that there's issues, it doesn't matter if it's a new staff. It's USF, guys. I can't stress that enough. These are games that we should be blowing people out in. It doesn't matter if it's his guys or not. That's schematics, okay? That's personnel, play calling, defensive play calling. That's what it comes down to. Please go and listen to the Gator Nation podcast. They will break everything down and back up what I'm saying statistically. They break down film on YouTube. They're really good at it. So these guys don't sugarcoat anything. They're going to call it like it is. Was it sound football? That's basic stuff. It can be a big play, an explosive play on our defense, but were we lined up right? Were we playing the right defense, the right guys, et cetera, et cetera. So, for their offense to look like a juggernaut against us, it's just sad. Offensively, the offensive line is a big, big bright spot. I think it's one of the best in the country. We got massive push. We were just pancaking guys. We were having our way. We barely had the ball. USF had way more time possession, like 36 minutes to our 17. It was putrid. So we barely ran any plays, and that's one of the reasons they outgained and outrushed us by a big, big margin. Turnovers don't help that. That was part of the reason for that too. Our run game, running backs are elite, except for Naquan Wright. This is where I'm starting to get irritated with Napier. Why are we playing Naquan Wright 24 snaps on the season, 22 for ETN with a 7.5-yard average? Naquan Wright's average, y'all, is 4.2 yards per play. Okay, that's not good. It's not even average. He's not good. He doesn't need to be on the field. He barely scored that touchdown from the 5. It took everything he had to get to the corner of the end zone to score. He's just slow. His vision's not great. He needs to go to the slot and play receiver. Monterell Johnson, which my son calls Monterell, he's my favorite. He's RB1 to me. I think it's disrespectful that these guys work hard and are showing it on the field that they're better. If the depth chart this week comes out with Naquan 1 at running back, I'm going to have serious concerns and lose some respect for Napier because Montrell Johnson should be 1, ETN 2, Naquan 3. And if they don't do that, that's wrong. What kind of culture and message are you sending to the players by doing the same crap that Mullen did with the seniority and the disrespect card on playing time? So that's one of my issues with him being in the game and getting equal amount of snaps. I do not like the rotation. It needs to be much heavier with Johnson getting the most carries, ETN behind that, and then sprinkle some Naquan in, here and there, maybe for pass blocking. So one thing too is Montrell's averaging 9.6 yards per carry on 25 touches, one more touch than Naquan, and he's averaging 9.6 to his 4.2, 256 yards on the or 66 yards on the season rushing. I'm not saying anything else about that. You guys can decide for yourself what opinion you want to form, but the numbers don't lie. So, QB, and I hear people want to bench AR. AR is our best option at quarterback right now. Until Jack Miller gets back, we've got Engel, who's a walk-on, who's looked really good in practice throwing the ball. The kid's accurate. But, man, he's never been in a game, no experience. He's got no threat with his legs. Kitna, he's a smart guy. Mechanics aren't great. Hasn't looked great in practice. The walk-on has been the most accurate practice passer in the spring and fall. That's all reports coming out of practice, that our walk-on quarterback has been more accurate than Anthony Richardson, Kitna, Del Rio Wilson. The reason he transferred was because he was behind all of them. So yeah, quarterback's definitely a weak spot. No depth there. Um, I do think we did make some adjustments in the second half and did play some better defense. I do think we tried to throw the ball too much in this game once again. I think we were trying to figure some stuff out. I don't want to see Henderson catch another pass in a Gator uniform. I mean, the guy's got 3 catches for 3 yards in the game. Just no explosiveness in his game. He can't make a cut. He can't make a guy miss. Those play calls are terrible. Personnel, why is he getting that ball? Throw it to Etienne. Throw it to Naquan out there. Put someone else in the slot besides him that can do something with the ball. That end around with him getting the ball was blown up. They snuffed that out all day. We're just throwing the ball to the same people. Last year the ball was spread around so much. You would always hear about 13 Gators receivers, or 13 people caught a ball from Kyle Trask or whatever, or Emory Jones. Even with Emory, we were spreading the ball around better than this. It's the same people. Shorter made a nice grab in the game. But our guys aren't getting separation, okay? The only guy that's getting separation is Pearsall. If you've got one guy getting open, guess what? Defense is going to key in on him and shut him down. Pearsall had 1 catch in this game, guys. Why do we not do the end around with Pearsall, who's one of our fastest, most shifty receivers? Why are we giving the ball to Henderson? Have y'all asked yourselves that? Have y'all wondered why we're not throwing the stand pass to him instead of Henderson? I mean, this stuff just does not make sense, guys. So you got to start questioning that kind of stuff, because that's where the coaching comes into play. All right, I'm going to get into some of that now. So with Napier and his comments, halftime, pressers, I know y'all aren't going to like this, but he sounds almost the same to me as McElwain and Mullen. A lot of coach speak, a lot of political answers. My plan's working, schematics are good, it's execution. Well, we all know after what I just said about the running backs and the receiver and some of the play calls that's not true. The plan's not working. You're putting the wrong guys in the wrong positions. It's just that some of the timeouts he's called are at terrible times. I don't know if he's made too many in-game decisions that were beneficial to us. If anything, I think maybe one time in the Utah game we may have made a good call on the 4th down calls, but the 4th down decisions in the Kentucky game were atrocious. The timeouts in this game were atrocious. I'm having a hard time staying bought in, but I'm not wanting to fire Napier, guys. He is the guy. I just think he needs to hire a true offensive coordinator to take over this offense, call the plays, keep recruiting like we are. This is a rebuild year. We're going to get his guys in there, and that's going to improve everything. But I'd rather see an offensive coordinator come in here and take over play calling and let Napier be like Nick Saban, be our CEO type. Because, man, he can build. He is a program builder. He's doing a wonderful job building Florida up right now. Recruiting is booming. We've had elite visitors at every game. Kermani, to me, still a Gator lean. What we're putting on the field, in all honesty, though, guys, it's hurting us. It's not hurting us. We just got a commitment from a running back, Bowens, 2024 guy. I think offensive line recruiting is going to pick up after this year with how good they're looking. I think that will start to pick up some. And we need it bad. We need some offensive line commits, because offensive line recruiting has been trash so far. Running back's been great. So that shouldn't be a problem. But what receiver would want to play in this offense? What quarterback right now would want to play in this offense? So defensive-wise, I think recruiting's going to stay elite. It is elite right now, so this defense is only going to get better. Offense is what worries me. I don't think the offensive recruiting has been great. The receivers in this class are elite. But quarterback concerns me. Who do we have? Stokes has been terrible this year. I don't know if y'all have been looking at that, but his stats have been atrocious. He's probably going to drop from being a 4-star to a low 3-star by the end of the cycle. He just looks absolutely terrible. Now, again, I live in Milton, y'all, and there's a lot of kids here. Milton High School has got Raymond Cottrell, who used to be committed to the Gators, and now he's committed to Georgia. Um, their team's like 0-3, all right, and their quarterback is the kid that's committed to Miami with Rashada, the 3-star kid. So he's been horrible this year. They may lose their scholarship. They're that bad. But again, you can't always put a lot of stock in wins and losses because they could be on a really bad high school team and still come to Florida and be an elite player, be a good player. So I'm not writing Stokes off completely, but I do think that we got to find a guy in the transfer portal or find another guy in this class. Or 2024 has got to be an elite Lagway. DJ Lagway or Langway, I can't remember how to say his last name. We've got to land that kid. We need him. He's a special athlete. I honestly thought he was about to commit to Florida. Well, now he names us in his top schools, top 3, I think he just put out. To me, that's not a good sign. I think he's seeing some issues with these games, and I think we went from being this close to a commitment to him putting out top schools with us in it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I do think we still have a shot. I think he's our guy in 24 that we're all in on. And I do hope he's our guy. I think he's elite. He's a 5-star guy. That's who we need to land and then patch it in with another transfer to come and compete this offseason. But yeah, the game as a whole to me was just disappointing, frustrating for us as Gator fans. I do know Anthony takes a lot of this on his shoulders, and I do know he's trying, and he's just not getting it, guys. So I'm going to end it on that. I hope everybody has a good week. Again, please like and subscribe to the channel. If y'all got any comments about anything you want me to talk about or put out this week, if you want another video, anything you want me to go over, please put that in the comment section down below. Y'all have a good week, and go Gators.